morning, dear friends. I'm Anne Hathaway, and I'm so glad to have you back here on the channel. I hope you're doing well and surrounded by peace, happiness, and good health. Wishing you a life full of prosperity and blessing. As always, I'm here to bring you the latest, most trustworthy updates on the Iraqi dinar. Thank you for being part of this journey and for your continued support. It truly means a lot. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like it and share it with those close to you. It really helps us grow and reach more people. Now, let's dive into today's exciting topic. Imagine waking up this morning, scrolling through the latest news updates, and suddenly finding yourself staring at words that could change the financial conversation for millions of people around the world. The Iraqi Gazette, the country's official government publication, has just released a confirmed framework for the exchange rules of the Iraqi dinar in 2025. For years, speculation has bubbled across communities, forums, and financial circles. Rumors piled up, analysts offered predictions, and countless individuals holding dinar wondered if the day of clarity would ever come. And now, it has arrived. In Iraq, what is written in the Gazette is not just discussion or suggestion, it becomes binding law. This morning's publication leaves no ambiguity, no vague references, no half measures. For the first time, the roadmap for how the dinar will operate, how exchanges will be carried out, and what rules citizens and international investors must follow has been laid out in black and white. The message is clear. Iraq has drawn a line under years of uncertainty. The most striking and immediate detail emerging from the Gazette is the complete elimination of Iraq's dual exchange rate system. For more than a decade, Iraq has battled with two conflicting exchange values, one set by the central bank and one set informally through market demand, smuggling, and shadow dealing. The gap between the two created confusion for citizens, encouraged corruption, and discouraged foreign investment. This morning's Gazette confirms that Iraq is putting that fractured system to rest. From this point onward, there will be a single, unified, internationally recognized rate, and every licensed bank and exchange center inside Iraq must comply without exception. This is more than a technical change, it's a declaration of seriousness. A signal that Iraq wants to step onto the global stage with stability, transparency, and adherence to international norms. For years, the dual system represented instability. Ordinary Iraqis saw one rate at their banks but were forced to accept a different one on the street when they needed foreign currency for travel, medical treatment abroad, or to support relatives living outside the country. Smugglers and black market dealers thrived by exploiting the gap, buying at one price and selling at another. Investors saw the situation as a red flag, a sign that Iraq's financial system was not yet mature enough to handle large-scale global transactions. By moving to a single exchange rate enforced by the Central Bank of Iraq, the government is sending a strong message. The days of confusion are finished, and the value of the dinar will now be clear and enforceable. The Gazette also emphasizes transparency and compliance in a way Iraq has rarely done before. Every citizen who wishes to exchange dinar into foreign currencies must present verified government-issued identification, while foreign investors handling larger volumes must provide full financial records and proof of funds. These requirements are not optional, and the publication devotes entire sections to outlining the penalties for anyone attempting to bypass the official channels. The punishments range from substantial fines to permanent exclusion from Iraq's financial system, with criminal charges possible in serious cases. By imposing such strict measures, the government is signaling that the loopholes and hidden channels of the past will no longer be tolerated. The country is drawing a hard boundary between legitimate economic activity and illegal financial practices, something that both Iraqis and the international community have been waiting to see. For those who have long relied on unofficial street-level dealers, this reform represents a complete restructuring of the system. Gone are the days when currency holders could shop around for the best informal rate or trust a friend of a friend to process their exchanges. The Gazette makes clear that only approved institutions will be allowed to carry out transactions, with the central bank maintaining the master list of licensed participants. Not only will this shut down unregulated operators inside Iraq, but it also provides clarity for those abroad. Reports indicate that several major US banks, as well as institutions across Europe and the Gulf, have already been included among Iraq's approved exchange partners. This is a monumental shift, as it means holders of dinar outside Iraq will no longer have to depend on questionable intermediaries. Instead, they can walk into globally recognized banks and complete their exchanges through official legal channels. The significance of this decision cannot be overstated. For Iraqis, it means security and fairness. For investors abroad, it means trust and legitimacy. For the international financial system, it means that Iraq is ready to play by the rules of transparency and compliance that define stable economies. The Gazette even goes further, explicitly tying these reforms to compliance with International Monetary Fund guidelines and commitments to strengthen Iraq's standing in global trade. By embedding itself into global standards, Iraq is signaling to the world that it intends to be a serious participant in the international financial community, not a country weighed down by loopholes and smuggling. Timing is another critical element. The Gazette does not speak in future terms or vague promises. The rules are effective immediately. While practical integration with all international banks may unfold in stages, the legal foundation is now in place. This means banks inside Iraq must adapt without delay, and global partners will begin implementing the new standards right away. For currency holders, particularly those with large amounts of dinar, this sense of immediacy cannot be ignored. The law does not leave much room for hesitation or delay. Compliance is expected, and the consequences for non-compliance are severe. What makes the tone of the Gazette stand out is its certainty. Where past communications often left room for doubt, this announcement is final. Where past discussions fueled speculation, this text provides legal clarity. For ordinary Iraqis, this marks the beginning of a period of stability after years of uncertainty. For those abroad holding dinar and waiting for official confirmation, this represents the green light they have been hoping to see. The landscape of Iraq's currency policy has been transformed overnight, with every detail documented and made public for the world to read. Economists note that these reforms, particularly the unification of the exchange rate, could have wide-reaching impacts. Domestically, Iraqis will no longer have to navigate multiple values when traveling, sending money abroad, or purchasing imports. Inflationary pressures created by black market manipulation will likely ease, and citizens will gain renewed trust in the banking system. Internationally, the change aligns Iraq with best practices, allowing smoother participation in trade and financial transactions. Investors who previously viewed Iraq with skepticism may now see it as a viable opportunity. With exchange rates unified and compliance rules enforced, the risk of entering Iraq's market has been significantly reduced. The Gazette does not shy away from addressing the past problems head-on. It acknowledges that smuggling, black market manipulation, and loophole exploitation drained the economy of billions over the years. The new rules are designed precisely to cut off those avenues. By demanding documentation and centralizing all exchanges through authorized institutions, Iraq is effectively shutting down the underground networks that once thrived. For the average Iraqi citizen who lost money through unofficial exchanges, this reform represents protection. For the government, it represents control and oversight that was once impossible. For global partners, it represents reassurance that Iraq is capable of safeguarding the integrity of its financial system. Another layer of importance is the international dimension. Iraq is not implementing these changes in isolation. By directly referencing the IMF and international financial guidelines, the Gazette highlights a collaborative approach. Iraq is working with, not against, global institutions. This will not only make the dinar more stable but will also allow Iraq to rebuild trust with foreign governments and financial institutions. In time, this could translate into stronger trade relationships, greater foreign investment, and integration into international markets that were previously closed off. Symbolically, the reforms represent a break from the past. For decades, the presence of an unregulated black market and multiple exchange rates was seen as a sign of weak governance and fragile institutions. Today's Gazette, however, tells a different story. By eliminating informal dealers, centralizing control, and enforcing compliance, Iraq is showing that it intends to modernize, stabilize, and take its rightful place among nations with transparent, functional economies. The practical effects will take time to play out, but the direction is undeniable. Citizens will gradually see exchanges become simpler and more reliable. Businesses will be able to plan with greater confidence, no longer worrying about sudden changes in unofficial rates. International banks will grow more comfortable partnering with Iraq. Investors will begin to view the dinar not as a risky gamble, but as part of a legitimate financial ecosystem. And perhaps most importantly, the Iraqi people, who have endured years of currency instability and mistrust, may finally begin to feel that their financial system is working in their favor rather than against them.